everyone, welcome back to the Ryder Games YouTube channel. My name is Jamie and I'm back again today with another How to Play for Gateway Island. Today we're going to be learning the 13th game in Gateway Island called the Great Golden Egg. The Great Golden Egg is a game for 3 players and will use the following mechanics: bluffing, simultaneous action selection, prisoner's dilemma, and diplomacy. So without further ado, let's learn how to play the Great Golden Egg. Let's get started with setup. The Great Golden Egg will use island card 13, the wooden cubes, and the wooden discs. To start, you're going to place the island card in the center of the table within reach of all players. Before we get started, let's take a look at the anatomy of the island card. So here you will see the cliff's point values in these little circles. We also have an example here between these 2 cliffs that are not connected, and an example here of these 2 cliffs that are connected. Each player will take 8 cubes in their chosen color. These cubes represent the adventurers in your group. Randomly choose the first player. They're called the guide. The guide takes a disc of any color and places it in front of them. The other players are called followers. And that's the setup. The Great Golden Egg is played in a series of rounds, each round consisting of 3 phases until a winning condition will be met, which we'll cover shortly. One important thing to know before we get into gameplay is that throughout the game, players are allowed to negotiate, make deals, and make promises, but nothing is binding. Consider taking and making deals carefully. Let's start with phase 1. The guide targets. The guide chooses a target cliff following these targeting rules. They can always choose a cliff valued at 1 or 2. They can only choose a cliff with a higher value if they have at least 1 adventurer of their color in both of the connected cliffs with a lower value. So you'll remember the connected cliffs are connected through these dotted lines. So let me show you what I mean. Now, as the red player, I could choose to put my cube here because this cliff has a value of 1. But if I wanted to put my cube here on the value 3, well, right now I couldn't do that. But in this instance, when I have a cube here and here, both of which are connecting to the 3, I could then place a cube in that spot. Moving into phase 2, the followers vote. The followers each hold their closed fist out over the table, and the guide counts to 3. On 3, the followers must vote if they want to follow the guide or not. To vote yes, reveal a thumbs up. To vote no, a thumbs down. Finally, phase 3, place and move. There are 3 voting possibilities. If both of the followers voted yes, then starting with the guide and continuing clockwise, each player must choose one of the following options. Add one of their adventurer cubes to the target cliff, or they can move one of their adventurer cubes from the target cliff to a connected cliff. Let me just show you an example. Let's say the red player would like to put their cube here on this number 3. Well, the green player and the yellow player both vote yes. That sounds great. So the red player will place their cube on 3 because that's the decision that they had made. The yellow player is actually going to decide to move their cube to a connected cliff, and the green player is going to need to place their cube on the 3 because they don't have one to move. Now, if one player voted yes and the other player voted no, the guide doesn't add or move adventurers. The follower who voted no may move one of their adventurers from any cliff to another connected cliff. The follower who voted yes gets the disc and becomes the new guide. Let me show you an example. So very similar to the last scenario, the red player would like to put their cube here. The yellow player voted no, and the green player voted yes. So they're a bit at odds here. Now, the red player is not going to get to put their cube out because they didn't have agreement among everyone. The yellow player, who voted no, can choose to move their cube, so they may like to move here. While the green player voted yes, they are going to get the disc and become the new guide. Now, if both players vote no, neither follower can add nor move an adventurer. The guide, however, can add one adventurer to a cliff following the targeting rules from Phase 1. Or they can move one of their adventurers from any cliff to a connecting one. So the red player, once again, wants to put a cube here, but both yellow and green said, no thanks, they don't want to see that happen. Well, that means that the red player is either going to get to add their cube, maybe to where they want it to go, or they can choose to move one of their cubes to a connected cliff. And neither of the followers get to do anything. The game will end if at the end of the round, at least one of the following two conditions is met. At least one player has an adventurer on all cliffs. As an example, in this instance, the game would end because red has a cube on all cliffs. Or at least one player has all of their adventurers on the card, meaning they have no cubes left in their pile. As an example, red has all of their cubes out on the card. Points are scored for adventurers based on the value of cliff each is on. Players should each add up the total value of their adventurers to determine their final score. So, let me show you an example of scoring. In this example, let's score for the red player. So, here they have 2 adventurers with 3, so that will be 6 points. In this space, they have 3 adventurers for 3 points, meaning 9. So far, 15 points. Here, they have 1 adventurer for 2, so that's 17 points, another 2 points, 19 points, and finally 1 point for 20 points total for the red player. The player with the highest score wins the game. In the case of a tie, the tied players will share the victory. And that's the Great Golden Egg. Now, if you enjoyed this game and all of the mechanics that it used, we'd love to recommend a next step game for you to try. For the Great Golden Egg, that game is going to be Moonrakers from IV Studio. Moonrakers is a game of shipbuilding, temporary alliances, and shrewd negotiation, set in a spacefaring future. The players form a loose band of mercenaries, but while they are united in name, actual alliances are shaky and players are pitted against each other in the quest to become the new leader of the Moonrakers. So if you enjoyed the Great Golden Egg, please feel free to check out Moonrakers from IV Studio. Thank you so much for joining me again today to learn another game from Gateway Island. If you're going to continue playing through Gateway Island and you'd like to learn more of the games, I will make sure to leave the link in the description to the playlist. There's 21 different games, so there's lots to learn and explore. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below and I will get to them as soon as I can. I would also love to recommend that you join the Van Ryder Games Discord channel. We have such a thriving community there and we would love for you to become a part of it. But that is everything that I have for you today. I will be back again with another Gateway Island How to Play, so I'll see you then. Happy gaming!